G is a rapper who has broken out fairly big recently. Last year was his breakout album that I didn't like at all. Thought it was just really regurgitated, generic rap and trap isms that I feel like I've heard so many times before, to the point where I couldn't really single out anything that stood out about the guy. So you know, my expectations for anything else from this rapper were really low. And earlier in the year, he really subverted my expectations with the trap banger with Mike Will Made It, a few other guest features too, NLE Chopper, Stunner for Vegas. You know, as you can tell by the way I'm saying their names, I'm not really familiar with them at all as rappers or artists in any particular way. So the fact that I didn't like Polo G's album, and you've got a few other artists here that came through with one of the best bangers I've heard all year, is kind of surprising, really. I had no expectations for this to happen at all. Mike Will Made It has always been a pretty talented producer though, so I suppose him coming together with this really friggin' fantastic beat just brought out so much fire in all of the guest features here, including Polo G as well. So my expectations for a new Polo G album were actually very high, which is something I just didn't see coming. But I think the album that we've got here, The GOAT, is pretty good, but there is a lot that's left to be like desired, because you can kind of see like the roadmap for where Polo G is heading. You can see the potential, you can see the greatness almost coming through, and yet it's frustrating because he just really misses the mark a lot here. Don't get me wrong though, I do think this is a good album overall. I just think there are moments where he's not fully playing to his strength. There is a stretch of tracks that run at about the halfway mark that are just very somber in their tone. He is, you know, pretty introspective with his lyrics. He's going into detail about some really personal things, which I appreciate about him here, but the tracks are just so scant. You know, there's not a lot really going on. His flows get quite repetitive, and I'm just kind of waiting for something else to happen. And honestly, there are some really strong lyrical moments on this album. I really like the track 21, where he's talking a lot about you know, how he's just gonna work as hard as he possibly can. He's just focusing on his work ethic here, and he's not gonna slow down or have a chill moment until he's at the top. And I like that hungry attitude that he brings to the table here, because you know, he's fairly new to the game, but he's just willing to keep pushing himself as hard as he can. He's not going to slow down for really anything until he gets to that point. And although the beat on this one is pretty smooth, not as hard hitting as something like Go Stupid, which again is just a ridiculously hard track, no other track really reaches that anyway, so to kind of compare every song to that one would be silly, because this track is really smooth. And then you get some other tracks as well that go for these kind of like acoustic guitar led songs. Like there's some really like summery sounding tracks that I feel like could kind of start popping off for him, even though they don't really, you know, attract my ears all that much. They are pretty nice on the ears, but I'm not like, whoa. Beautiful Pain is a relationship type track with that summery guitar laced into the beat that I was talking about just there. This is the kind of track that would probably be the one that, you know, gets him more success, because it's more relatable. He's talking about topics that, you know, many guys can relate to here, but it's just not that exciting of a track. Like, I just know for a fact he has way more in him than offering a beat like this, because you do get other tracks as well that are pretty slow, like I Know, where he's talking about like the atrocities he sees in his life, in his neighborhood, you know, just the people around him that, you know, die or get lost to drugs, that kind of stuff. And he says that one line at one point where he's like, how is it that I wake up from a dream into a nightmare? Don't Believe the Hype focuses on this as well, which is the opening track, one of my favorites here, I would say too. This one here, you know, just kind of like talking about the hype of like the drug lifestyle, and he's just basically saying, you know, like, look, you know, it ain't what it's put up to be. It's not really like this lifestyle you ever really want to aspire to have. You can't rely on these things and expect it to bring you anything other than just terrible things, which I think is pretty much accurate for what you generally see when people become addicted to drugs and stuff. So I like that he goes into these topics, and I like the track DND as well, which is one of the best tracks here because he brings more energy to the track. Because some of these more somber in tone tracks, the kind of like slower tracks, are really introspective with what he's talking about. He's pretty strong actually, you know, painting a picture with his lyrics. Even if he's not like the most inventive writer, I still think he gets the job done. But this track DND, like, he's got way more energy in his voice. He's just coming at the song with just a more interesting and exciting flow, and I'm just like, yes, just bring this on every track, because I think that'll catch a lot of people's attention by bringing, you know, these really interesting lyrics with a really hype energy and hype production. Like, I think this could be something he needs to move on to. That's what I was saying before. Like, there's like a roadmap somewhere here that he's kind of like moving towards, and we're gonna see it come one day, but we're just not quite there yet. I do dig the closing track as well a lot. God damn, this track is so beautiful. The fucking piano. With BJ, the Chicago kid, always brings in a great vocal performance. Here he sounded like friggin' Usher at his best, may I add. My God. And then the gospel choir that comes in at the end, it's just like some really like life-affirming Common type track here. Like, you know, you definitely see Common rap over this type of thing. Early Talib Kweli as well. I could just totally imagine like those artists that bring in, you know, the really like jazzy, soulful aspects to their rap music. And yeah, Polo G was radiating that energy on this track as well. Like, this was a great closer. Honestly, this is again a moment where I'm thinking, if some of the slower tracks before this hit this level, I think we could have seen an absolutely fantastic album. But some of the tracks just feel kind of thin in what they're offering in terms of production. But I still think there's a lot of positives to take away. I found a lot of tracks to be going back to on this album. Like I said, Go Stupid's just really hard to top. But yeah, man, I'm seeing something with Polo G now. Perhaps in a few years he'll be dropping something that's even better than this. But for now, I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. It's showing potential. I'm gonna go 6 out of 10. A lot of good tracks here. Hopefully you dig something out of this album, and hopefully you find something to like. Hopefully you like it even more than I do. Thank you for watching my review. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a good day. Subscribe. Make sure you're banging Go Stupid. And yeah. Have a good day, and have a good day. Have a good day. Goodbye.